Alright, for this video we're going to be doing a Super Bowl tier list. Some of these Super Bowls I haven't seen or I didn't watch them live, but at least I know a little bit about them, so I should be able to rank most of them. Otherwise, if I don't, I'll put them in the didn't watch tier. This one being short by 1 or 2 yards, obviously iconic. I don't remember any of the game really because I was born in '98, so I would have been only a couple of years old when this came out, but obviously iconic, just being that close to winning the Super Bowl. I didn't watch this one. It'd be the Ravens winning the Super Bowl with Ray Lewis and that defense, and Vinatieri's kick being good for Tom Brady. Didn't watch. Some of these I did not. Patriots beating the Panthers as well. Didn't watch this one either. This is the first one where I actually started watching the Super Bowls. So Steelers versus Seahawks could have been better. Obviously, it was a good back and forth game, but Steelers mainly had the lead in this one. It wasn't as much of a competitive one as, let's say, like the Steelers Cardinals game. Colts Bears. As a big Colts fan, it's fun to see them win this game, but the game itself, it could have been better. It really could have. I'll put it above this one just because of how electric the Devin Hester return was. But Peyton Manning getting his first win in the rain was a good Super Bowl. Just it could have been better. I'm gonna be honest. I don't want to be too biased as a Colts fan, but this game right here, legendary. The David Tyree helmet catch game, the undefeated Patriots storybook Super Bowl. It's one of the greatest Super Bowls ever. Right up there next to it's got to be this one. It's got to be Santonio Holmes toe drag swag in the back corner of the pylon, the end zone. Just I wish I could go back and watch that game live. James Harrison's pick six, Larry Fitz doing Larry Fitz things, and then obviously the game winning touchdown. Just I wish I could go back and watch it live. All right, next game, sad one. The Saints winning over the Colts. Tracy Porter still still hurts. The game itself, I'll put as average. You could argue good. Obviously electric with the pick, but it wasn't like it was insanely close. The Colts had the lead at halftime. Then the onside kick was a nice surprise for the game. But other than that, Saints had control in the second half. It was just an all right game. Maybe it should be good, and I guess hurt by Tracy Porter, but I'll put it as average for now. I could put the same thing here with the Packers and Steelers. I enjoyed the game. Aaron Rodgers getting his win over Ben Roethlisberger was fun. A little bit more, a little closer than the Seahawks and Steelers one from what I remember, but maybe my mind's a little foggy on that one. Eli Manning versus Tom Brady Part 2 was good. Not as good as the first one. I'm going to put it down in good. That catch by Mario Manningham, that doesn't get enough talk for one of the greatest catches of all time. It was a really tough catch, and he maintained possession, so really good. The Harbaugh Bowl. This one had the power outage at halftime. Ravens came out firing. I'll put it as good. I'll put it behind these two, but I would say it'd be in that range. Wasn't my favorite Super Bowl to watch. There's a couple other teams I wanted to win that year, but overall, the matchup, it was a high-scoring game. The kickoff return. Next one, this one was sad. This was the Seattle Seahawks Legion of Boom versus the high-flying Denver offense with Peyton Manning. This was one of the worst Super Bowls to watch in terms of just being a fan. Yes, I'm a Peyton Manning fan. Watching him get blown out 43-8, I think it was sad. But in terms of just watching the game, unless you're a Seahawks fan, this was not a very fun Super Bowl to watch. Now this one, once again, if you're a Seahawks fan, you're going to disagree with these two rankings, but this is a legendary game. You could argue it over those, but it's a top tier Super Bowl, no matter how you draw it up. I wanted the Seahawks to win in this one. I wasn't a fan of the Patriots, but you cannot deny how great the Super Bowl was. The catch by Jermaine Kearse along the sideline, the tip drill, Malcolm Butler getting the pick when they should have ran it with beast mode. I mean, this is an iconic Super Bowl. You cannot put it anywhere else but legendary, in my opinion. Super Bowl 50, it could have been better. It really, the hype around it, potentially being Peyton's last game, Cam Newton in that that strong offense for the Panthers. Von Miller getting the strip sack. It just the hype around it was a lot more than what it actually turned out being. So kind of disappointing with how the Super Bowl went, despite happy for Peyton Manning. 28-3, easily a legendary. I'll put it at second. There's a case to be. I'll put it as number one. I just watching this game. I did not think the Patriots were going to come back. I was messaging a Patriot fan during the game, and I was letting them know how sometimes the Super Bowls are not always go in your favor. You know, remembering the Colts, or not the Colts, remembering Peyton Manning lose to the Seahawks. I kind of thought that was going to be the same case with Tom Brady, but coming back from 28-3, the catch by Edelman, Julio Jones's catch, James White going off. Legendary Super Bowl, one of the greatest Super Bowls. Patriots and Eagles. I'm gonna put this. I'll put it in legendary as well. I'm not an Eagle fan, but you cannot deny the Philly special. Nick Foles being Super Bowl MVP, taking over for Carson Wentz. That it was a very high scoring game between the Patriots and the Eagles. It was a great Super Bowl. I wasn't a fan of either team in there, but most of the time I'm not a fan of either of the teams, being a Colts fan. So iconic. The Philly special obviously is great. So next one, Patriots versus Rams. This was a low scoring. I'm going to put it in awful. I don't mind defensive slugfest games, but this one just was not it. Especially with how the Rams were portrayed as this amazing offense. And it was great to see, really good defense, but I think there's some bad offense in it as well. I am going to put it as awful, but I'll put it above the Seahawks-Bronco game. Chiefs and 49ers. This was their first time they played each other. There's a couple missing on here, so I'll fill those in where they belong. But Chiefs-Niners, Jimmy Garoppolo versus Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes' first Super Bowl. I'll put it as average. I'll put it here after I'll put it right there. Good Super Bowl. There's a bit of a comeback. I think Chiefs were down by 10 in the second half, and they came back and won. So, it was a good Super Bowl. Nothing stood out that was worthy of good or legendary, in my opinion. Buccaneers versus Chiefs. This was Tom Brady's last Super Bowl. This was the blowout. This was not a very fun watch. I'll put it, could have been better. Won't put it in awful tier. There's a couple things. Obviously, it was a blowout, but some blowouts are exciting. Seeing Tom Brady get his last ring was really cool to see, even though I was not a big Tom Brady fan at the time. Seeing it in Tampa, his first year away from New England, was a special sight to see. And then Mahomes was doing everything he possibly could, throwing that pass horizontally, about to fall on the ground. There was some really cool moments in this, despite the Super Bowl being a little bit mediocre. Bengals and Rams. This one was fun. This was a very fun game. I'm going to put this right up there. Cooper Kupp getting Super Bowl MVP. The Bengals absolutely could have won this game if not for pressure by Aaron Donald. It would have been nice to see the Bengals get it. I was rooting for the Bengals, but you got to be happy for the Rams and what they did in this game. It was a really fun one. So that leaves a couple more. So I know there is Eagles-Chiefs. This was the one where the Chiefs beat the Eagles, if I'm not mistaken. So this is Patrick Mahomes' second Super Bowl that he won. This one was the closer of the two. This was a really fun matchup. I put it right up in the good tier, right after the Rams and Bengals. This one went back and forth, high scoring game. I'll put that right in this spot right here, right in between these two. Then the next game would have been it would have been Chiefs versus the 49ers. And this would have been Brock Purdy versus Patrick Mahomes. This was an overtime Super Bowl. So that one I had actually put above the Rams and Bengals. A really good Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes in overtime. They get the score. Then the 49ers needed to... it was the play was broken up by Chris Jones. They had a chance to score. Just anytime you get an overtime in the Super Bowl, it's got to be one of the higher ranked Super Bowls. And then after that, the most recent one, the Eagles destroying the Chiefs. That one, honestly, for me, it's got to be done in awful. If you're an Eagle fan, I understand you putting it up higher, but I think it's got to be right in this tier with the Patriots-Rams and then the Seahawks-Broncos. It's right in there. Just was not a very interesting Super Bowl. It was decided pretty early, even though we all thought Mahomes might be able to do what Tom Brady did. it was not very fun to watch. So that's my ranking. Obviously, 3 not listed there. So if you're skipping to the end and looking at it, there's 3 not listed here, and that's where I had 2 up here and 1 down here. So let me know what I got wrong on this list, and what Super Bowls you'd put in different categories. Otherwise, like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff if you like this content, and maybe I'll see you in the next one.